Chosen one, have you ever wondered why God keeps calling you even when you feel completely unworthy of the call? Why his voice keeps finding you in your weakness, in your doubt, in your fear? Listen closely, because this is not coincidence. This is divine selection at its purest form. Have you ever felt like you're not ready for what God is asking you to do? Like you made too many mistakes, failed too many times, or missed too many chances? You see others who seem more spiritual, more gifted, more prepared, and you ask yourself, why me, Lord? Here's the truth. God's pattern has never been to call the qualified. His power is revealed to the unlikely, the broken, the underestimated. When you feel unqualified, it's not a sign that you've been rejected. It's evidence that you've been chosen for a higher training ground. Because heaven's assignments are not based on human merit. They are based on divine purpose. So what if the very thing that makes you feel unworthy is the proof that heaven is trusting you with something others couldn't handle? Stay with me, because before this teaching ends, you'll understand the secret reason why God handpicked you. Chosen one, stop for a moment and listen carefully, because I'm about to expose a pattern most people never notice. When God looks for someone to use, he doesn't scan for perfection. He scans for surrender. Think about it. Moses had a speech problem. David was an overlooked shepherd. Gideon called himself the weakest in his tribe. And yet, God chose them not because they were flawless, but because they were available. Have you ever felt God pulling on your spirit, even when you told yourself, I'm not ready? That's because heaven's qualification system operates differently. While man sees a resume, God sees a heart. He searches for humility, for the one willing to say, Lord, I can't do this without you. And that very humility becomes a throne upon which his glory rests. The less of you there is, the more room he has to manifest through you. So, beloved, could it be that the very reason God chose you was because you wouldn't rely on your own strength, but his? Stay tuned, because in the next chapter, I'll reveal the hidden training every chosen one must go through before divine elevation arrives. Chosen one, pay attention, because this is a part where most people give up. Before God elevates you, he purifies you, and that process never feels holy. It feels painful. Have you ever wondered why life suddenly became harder after you said yes to God? Why doors started closing, relationships shifted, and even your peace seemed tested? That's not a punishment. That's the furnace, the sacred place where God removes everything that would later disqualify you from handling his glory. Every chosen vessel must pass through fire, not to be destroyed, but to be refined. The rejection you face wasn't meant to humiliate you. It was meant to shape you. The pain you endured wasn't random. It was a curriculum from heaven, custom built to strengthen your faith. The fire you're in is proof that you're being prepared for divine use. So what if what feels like delay is actually divine construction? What if heaven is crafting your foundation to hold what others would crumble under? Stay with me, because in the next teaching, I'll reveal why God hides his chosen ones before he reveals them. If you believe your fire is preparation, type refine me, Lord, in the comments. Chosen one, listen closely. Every true calling comes with a hidden season. Before God reveals a vessel, he first conceals them. It is in this period of isolation that he builds the character required to sustain divine elevation. Many mistake this hidden season as rejection, not realizing that heaven often hides what it intends to honor. There are moments when you'll feel unseen, overlooked, and forgotten. You'll watch others rise while you remain still. But remember this, silence is not absence. When God hides you, he is protecting you from premature exposure. He is teaching you to hear his voice without the noise of validation and applause. It's in the secret place that he trains your discernment, your endurance, and your spirit. Have you ever asked yourself why certain opportunities never worked out even when you were qualified? That was not failure. That was divine timing guarding your purpose. If you rise before your roots go deep, you will wither under the weight of the calling. God loves you too much to let that happen. So he keeps you covered until your foundation is strong enough to carry the mantle. And when the time is right, the same God who hid you will be the one to announce you. You will not need to promote yourself or force doors open. His favor will speak louder than your efforts. The waiting season is not wasted. It's the incubation of destiny. If you are in that hidden place right now, don't despise it. Type, "I will wait on God," in the comments and let heaven see your faith. Your silence is sacred, and your obscurity is not punishment. It's preparation for visibility. Chosen one. Being chosen is not about prestige. It's about responsibility. The anointing you carry is not for display. It's for service. Many admire the light, but few understand the burden that comes with carrying it. Every chosen one must learn to manage the tension between divine calling and human weakness. When God places his hand upon your life, he also allows pressures that will stretch you beyond your comfort zone. You will feel the weight of spiritual warfare, emotional fatigue, and misunderstanding from those around you. But these are not signs that you've lost favor. They are indicators that heaven trusts you with more. God only refines gold that he intends to shine. You may look at your situation and ask, why does everything I touch come with battle? Because the assignment you carry threatens the darkness you were sent to destroy. The heavier your purpose, the greater your preparation. Every tear you shed, every battle you fought, has been a seed that will later produce authority in the spirit realm. So instead of questioning the pressure, start discerning it. God uses weight to strengthen your spiritual muscles. The same resistance that once frustrated you will soon become the reason you can stand firm where others fall. Pressure produces oil, and that oil is what sets you apart. If you've been feeling the weight lately, don't give up. Type, "I'm built for this," in the comments. The chosen cannot be crushed. They are shaped by what was meant to break them. Chosen one, obedience is the language of destiny. When God calls you, he doesn't test your ability. He tests your willingness. It's not how much you know. It's how quickly you say, yes, even when you don't understand the full picture. The journey of every chosen one begins at the point of surrender. There will be moments when obedience feels illogical. God will ask you to walk away from people you love, leave opportunities that seem right, or speak words that don't make sense to those around you. These moments are not meant to confuse you. They are designed to reveal who truly sits on the throne of your heart. Will you obey even when it costs your comfort? When Abraham was told to leave his homeland, he didn't know where he was going, yet he obeyed. That act of faith made him the father of nations. The chosen always walk paths that others fear to tread. Your obedience will unlock doors your talent never could. Heaven moves in response to faith, not logic. You see, every time you obey, you authorize heaven to intervene in your story. Disobedience delays destiny, but obedience accelerates divine timing. Some of the blessings you've been praying for are already waiting on the other side of your yes. Don't let fear keep you for what God prepared for you. So, chosen one, what has God been asking of you lately? Don't delay any longer. Type "Yes, Lord" in the comments and let your obedience become the key that opens your next season. Chosen one, not every test from heaven is about your strength. Some are about your motives. God already knows your potential, but he allows circumstances to reveal why you want what you're asking for. Before elevation, there must be purification of intention. Sometimes, You may think you are ready for greater responsibility, but God delays it because your heart is still attached to approval, recognition, or personal validation. The throne of purpose cannot be shared with pride. Until your desire to please God outweighs your desire to impress people, heaven will keep you in the refining room. Think about Joseph. Before he became a ruler in Egypt, he was betrayed, imprisoned, and forgotten. Each season stripped him of pride and self-dependence, until his only agenda was God's glory. That's when heaven opened the door. Could it be that your waiting season is not punishment but purification? That God is cleansing your motives to make you unstoppable once He lifts you? You may be asking, why does God keep testing me? It's because He loves you enough not to let hidden motives destroy a visible blessing. Divine exposure without inner purification leads to collapse. Heaven will not place crowns on hearts that still crave validation from men. So pause for a moment and reflect. Why do you really want what you're praying for? If your motive is pure, God will accelerate your path. Type, Lord, purify my heart in the comments if you want your purpose to be driven by heaven, not ego. Chosen one. There will come a moment when heaven seems quiet, when the voice that once guided you so clearly now feels distant. You'll pray and hear nothing, worship and feel nothing, seek answers and find none. But listen closely. Divine silence is not divine absence. God is never inactive. He's observing your response. The silence of God is often the classroom of faith. It is where He teaches you to trust His nature, not His noise. When He hides His voice, He's strengthening your sensitivity. He wants you to depend on what you know of Him, not what you feel in the moment. Feelings change, but truth remains constant, and the truth is He never left. Moses experienced this. For 40 years, he wandered in obscurity, hearing nothing new from God. But in that silence, heaven was building a leader. Elijah too sat under a juniper tree, thinking God was gone, yet God was preparing his next assignment. Silence precedes revelation. Always, when heaven goes quiet, don't run, stay still. Keep worshiping, keep believing, keep obeying. The teacher is always silent during the test. And when the test ends, revelation begins. That's how God separates those who seek Him for comfort from those who seek Him for covenant. If you've been feeling God's silence lately, don't despair. Type, I still trust you, in the comments, and let faith speak louder than your emotions. Heaven hears even the quietest whisper of trust. Chosen one, identity is the first battlefield of destiny. Before you can walk in divine authority, you must first know who you truly are in God. Every attack you face wasn't really about your finances, your relationships, or your peace. It was about your identity. The enemy fears the moment you fully realize who you are. From the very beginning, the serpent attacked identity. He told Eve, "You will be like God," ignoring the fact that she was already made in God's image. The same deception plays out today. The enemy tries to convince you that you're not enough, that you're unworthy, that your past defines you. But every lie he tells is an attempt to keep you from walking in your divine authority. Listen carefully. Your struggles, your pain, and your trials were never meant to label you. They were meant to train you. God allowed certain battles because identity is not built in comfort. It's forged in conflict. Each challenge you survived has been heaven's way of reminding you that you're not weak, you're chosen. The day you stop questioning who you are is the day you start walking in your true power. You are not what happened to you. You are who God says you are, His vessel, His instrument, His ambassador on earth. Every scar you carry is proof that you overcame what was meant to destroy you. So today, lift your head high and declare it. I know who I am. Type those words in the comments right now. Because once you accept your divine identity, every chain that once held you loses its power. Chosen one, there's a moment in every destiny when God begins to separate you, not to punish you, but to prepare you. Separation is never comfortable, but it is sacred. Before elevation, there must be isolation. God pulls you away from familiar circles, familiar voices, and sometimes even familiar patterns, because where you're going, old mindsets cannot follow. You may have noticed relationships fading, doors closing, or environments becoming uncomfortable. Don't misinterpret that shift as rejection. It's redirection. God is removing distractions that could dilute your purpose. He is protecting your sensitivity by quieting the noise around you. When heaven is grooming a vessel for influence, solitude becomes a training ground. Look through Scripture. Every chosen man and woman was separated before they were sent. Joseph was separated from his brothers. Moses was separated into the wilderness. David was separated to the pasture. Even Jesus withdrew often to be alone with the Father. It's in solitude that clarity is born, and clarity is the compass of calling. So if God has been isolating you, rejoice. You are not being cut off. You're being carved out. The world sees absence, but heaven sees formation. When He brings you back into visibility, you will no longer blend in. You will stand out with purpose, power, and purity. If this word speaks to you, type "I'm in preparation" in the comments. Let the enemy know your isolation is not weakness, it's transformation. Chosen one, hear me clearly. Before every major blessing comes a breaking. It's a spiritual law. The vessel must be broken before the oil can flow. The moment you said yes to God's calling, you also said yes to His process. That process often comes wrapped in discomfort, but within it lies the making of your destiny. The breaking season is the point where God dismantles everything you thought you needed, so you can depend fully on Him. He will break pride, self-reliance, and false attachments, not to destroy you, but to rebuild you stronger. Think of it like a potter reshaping the clay. To form something new, he must first press, crush, and remold. David was broken before he became king. Peter was broken before he could lead the early church. Even Jesus, before the miracle of resurrection, endured the breaking of the cross. No one carries true power without first carrying a cross. That's where humility, compassion, and divine strength are born. You may not understand why everything seems to be falling apart, but listen, what feels like breaking is actually God removing everything that cannot survive your next season. When He rebuilds you, you'll be unstoppable because you'll no longer depend on anything temporary. If you're in that breaking stage, don't run from it. Type "break me, Lord, but build me stronger." Because what God breaks, He always blesses afterward. Always. Chosen one, divine delay is one of heaven's greatest mysteries. It frustrates the flesh but matures the spirit. When you pray and it feels like nothing is happening, understand this. God is never late. He's strategic. What you call delay, heaven calls preparation. There are things you've asked for that you're not ready to carry yet. God won't deny them. He's just developing the version of you that can handle them. If He gave you the blessing too soon, it would crush you instead of crown you. Every delay is heaven's way of synchronizing your growth with your promise. Think of Joseph again. His dream was real, but it took years of delay, betrayal, prison, and waiting before manifestation. During that time, he was not forgotten. He was being groomed for influence. When his moment finally came, he didn't just survive, he ruled. Your delay is training you for dominion. You may be frustrated, watching others move ahead while you're still waiting. But remember, Fast doesn't always mean lasting. Some people are in the spotlight prematurely, while God is ensuring your foundation is unshakable. When He finally releases you, no storm will be able to move you. So, don't curse the delay. Thank God for it. Type, "I'll wait on your timing," in the comments if you trust that divine timing is still perfect. The slower the process, the stronger the product. Chosen one of the hardest parts of divine calling is being misunderstood by the very people you thought would understand you. When God begins to change your path, those around you may question your choices, your silence, even your faith. But remember, they can't see what heaven is showing you. You are walking by revelation, not by approval. There are moments when obedience will make you appear strange. People will misread your intentions, and some will even turn against you. That's because purpose isolates perception. What others call confusion, heaven calls instruction. God will often hide your process from those not assigned to your destiny, so they cannot interfere with what He's building in you. Moses was misunderstood when he left Egypt. David was misunderstood when he danced before the Lord. Even Jesus was misunderstood by His own disciples, yet each stayed faithful to their divine assignment. You cannot fulfill destiny while trying to be understood by everyone. The calling requires you to endure being misjudged with grace. So when people withdraw or speak against what you're becoming, don't waste energy trying to explain yourself. Silence is your defense when God is your vindicator. Time will tell the truth. The very voices that doubted you will one day witness the manifestation of what they couldn't comprehend. If you've been feeling isolated or misjudged, type "God sees my heart" in the comments. You are not alone. Heaven validates what people can't yet see. Chosen one. Failure is not the end of your story. It's the classroom of destiny. Every fall, every mistake, every closed door was not a sign of rejection. It was a divine tool for redirection. God uses failure to teach wisdom that success cannot offer. It humbles a heart, sharpens discernment, and deepens dependence. Many of God's greatest vessels learned their strength through moments of collapse. Peter failed Jesus 3 times, yet that failure became the foundation of his compassion and leadership. Samson failed, but in his brokenness, his final act brought greater victory than all his previous battles. Don't let failure define you. Let it refine you. There's a reason your path hasn't been perfect. Heaven customizes your failures to build endurance, empathy, and spiritual maturity. What you see as a mistake, God sees as a mentorship moment. Each setback trains your spirit to rely less on performance and more on grace. When you understand this, you stop running from failure and start learning from it. You realize that even your errors are part of the divine design. The oil on your life flows stronger when it's been pressed by imperfection. Grace shines brightest through the cracks. If you've ever failed and felt disqualified, type "Grace restore me" in the comments. Because the chosen don't stay down, they rise with more wisdom than before. Chosen one. Before every transformation comes a transition, a season that feels uncertain, uncomfortable, and unpredictable. It's that middle ground where the old no longer fits, but the new hasn't fully arrived. You feel the pull of destiny, but you can't yet see the full picture. This is the spiritual corridor where faith becomes your only compass. During transition, God will strip away what no longer aligns with your assignment. Habits, relationships, and even mindsets will begin to shift. It's not chaos, it's construction. The shaking you feel is heaven rearranging your environment to match your new identity. You are being repositioned for elevation. Transitions are uncomfortable because they require trust without clarity. You may not understand why things are changing so fast, But God is orchestrating every detail. He's removing your dependence on what was, so you can embrace what's coming. The bridge to transformation is built through surrender. Think of a caterpillar before it becomes a butterfly. The cocoon feels like confinement, but it's actually preparation. Your current confusion is the cocoon of transformation. Don't fight it. What feels like limitation today is the space where wings are formed. If you know you're in a season of transition, type "I'm ready for transformation" in the comments. The shift you feel is not the end. It's the beginning of your unveiling. Chosen one, every major breakthrough is preceded by intense warfare. When you feel resistance on every side, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, it's a sign that something divine is about to be released. The enemy always attacks the closest manifestation because he knows he can't stop what God promised, but he can try to make you quit before it arrives. You may have noticed strange fatigue, sudden distractions, or emotional heaviness lately. That's not random. It's spiritual interference. But here's what most people miss. Warfare is confirmation, not condemnation. If you weren't dangerous to the kingdom of darkness, you wouldn't be under such pressure. The battle intensifies right before the blessing. Look at Jesus before the cross, Moses before the Red Sea, Joseph before the throne. Every destiny moment was surrounded by chaos. Why? Because the enemy fights hardest when heaven is about to shift your story. The pain you feel is proof that you're close to purpose. So don't retreat. Rise. Speak the word. Pray with authority. Stand your ground in faith. When you refuse to bow to fear, heaven backs your boldness. The storm isn't meant to sink you. It's meant to reveal your strength. After this warfare, you'll walk in a level of power you've never known before. If you're in the middle of a fight, type "I will not break." Let hell know that your endurance is your warfare strategy. Victory is already written. You just have to outlast the attack. Chosen one. One of the greatest marks of spiritual maturity is learning to move at God's pace. Rushing what heaven hasn't finished building can destroy what was meant to bless you. Timing is heaven's secret weapon. It synchronizes your preparation with your purpose. When you align with divine timing, everything flows effortlessly. But impatience is a subtle enemy. It whispers, "You should be further by now," or "You're falling behind." Yet God's clock is not man's clock. What looks like delay is often God shielding you from premature exposure. He's ensuring that when your door opens, you'll have the wisdom, endurance, and discernment to remain there. Think of David. He was anointed as king, but waited years before wearing the crown. That gap wasn't wasted time. It was training time. God uses waiting to cultivate capacity. Every hidden season adds depth to your spirit and sharpens your character for leadership. When you trust divine timing, you rest even in uncertainty. You stop forcing outcomes and start flowing with grace. You learn that what's meant for you won't miss you. It will find you in perfect time. The promise isn't just about arrival. It's about readiness. If this message resonates, type "I'll move in God's timing." You're not behind. You're being aligned. What's taking time is taking shape. Chosen one. When God finally promotes you, the blessing comes wrapped in responsibility. The mantle isn't just an honor, it's a weight. Every level of spiritual authority requires deeper levels of accountability. Many pray for the mantle, but few prepare for the management of it. When Elijah's mantle fell upon Elisha, it wasn't just power he received, it was burden. He inherited the responsibility to carry God's presence before people. The same happens to every chosen one. The greater your influence, the greater your humility must become. Authority without surrender leads to pride, and pride precedes collapse. You must understand that the anointing is not for self-exaltation. It's for service. God elevates you to lift others, not to glorify yourself. The oil on your life is heaven's investment in humanity through you. That's why you'll feel more weight, more warfare, and more testing, because the mantle requires maturity. Carrying the mantle means being trusted with God's reputation. It means staying pure when compromise feels easier, speaking truth when silence feels safer, and serving even when no one applauds. The mantle is not about visibility. It's about stewardship. If you believe God is placing greater responsibility on your life, type, "I'm ready for the mantle." This is not the time to shrink back. It's the time to rise with integrity and represent heaven well. Chosen one, those who endure are the ones who inherit. The road of divine purpose is not for the faint-hearted. It is for those who choose persistence over comfort. Endurance is a silent proof that your faith is genuine. Many begin the journey with zeal, but only those who stay when it hurts finish with glory. Endurance doesn't mean you never feel weary. It means you refuse to stop even when your strength feels gone. It's choosing to trust God when you don't see evidence, to pray when you feel dry, to stand when everything around you shakes. Endurance is a hidden virtue that heaven crowns in secret before it rewards in public. Every great vessel carried endurance as a shield. Noah endured ridicule for building the ark. Hannah endured mockery before holding her promise. Paul endured persecution before carrying the gospel across nations. You too are being trained to stand where others faint. Sometimes, endurance looks like silence when you want to explain, faithfulness when you want to quit, worship when you want to complain. But remember, every trial you survived has added a layer of spiritual steel to your spirit. You are stronger than you know, and heaven sees the tears you never spoke of. If you're still standing after everything you faced, type, "I'm still standing." That declaration alone shakes the enemy. Your endurance is your evidence that God's grace is working through you. Chosen one, every hidden season has an ending. There comes a divine moment when heaven whispers, "It's time." Suddenly, the same God who concealed you begins to reveal you. The preparation, the pain, the pruning, all of it starts to make sense. The unveiling doesn't come because you fought for attention. It comes because purpose has matured within you. When God unveils you, no one can deny it. The same people who question your silence will witness your rise. Opportunities that were once closed will now seek you out. You won't have to chase validation. Grace will introduce you. The light of God upon your life will speak louder than any explanation ever could. This unveiling isn't about fame. It's about assignment. Heaven doesn't reveal a vessel for applause, but for impact. You are being positioned to carry light into dark places, to speak truth in times of confusion, and to represent God's heart in a world starving for authenticity. The unveiling is not an ending. It's a beginning of purpose on display. Everything you've endured was a setup for this moment. The world is about to see what heaven has been shaping in secret. And when they do, make sure your glory points back to the one who chose you from the start. If you believe your unveiling season is here, type, "My time has come." Heaven has already signed your release. Now walk boldly in your calling. Chosen one, let's bring this revelation full circle. You've asked, why did God choose me when I feel so unqualified? Here's the answer. Because he saw something eternal in you, something that could survive the breaking, endure the silence, and still believe. You were not chosen for your perfection, but for your persistence. God chose you because he knew your weakness would become a testimony of his strength. He chose you because your scars would speak to others still bleeding. He chose you because your story would give hope to those who think they've gone too far. You are not the exception. You are the example of what grace can do through a surrendered heart. Every wound, every setback, every disappointment was heaven's classroom, shaping you into a vessel that could carry the weight of glory. You didn't survive by accident. You survived by assignment. The call of God is not about worthiness. It's about willingness. And you, chosen one, said yes. Now stand tall in that truth. You may still feel imperfect, but that's exactly what qualifies you, because God's glory shines brightest through broken vessels. You were handpicked to demonstrate that even in weakness, His power is perfect. If this word confirms something deep within you, type, "I am chosen" in the comments. And as you do, remember, heaven didn't make a mistake. You are the proof that God still chooses the unqualified to confound the mighty.